Oh, you
I
did?
have it written down.
Yeah, we're reading it.
Yeah.
No wonder, y'all are so good. All right, let's go to lesson 107. Y'all have the best memory of ever. All right.
That too.
You do. All right, so we'll write this part, we said that part. Okay, when you had a long vowel sound before, consonant sound that closes the syllable, that pattern of sound is the vowel, consonant, E, slash the silent E.
Put a macron as a vowel.
And y'all do that, right? You don't set C in it. All right, so we're spelling derivatives, so now we need to review our derivative rules. Really, first we would review our vowel sounds, right? If you, on a B day. If you maybe review them, if it was an A day, you review them for P day, but if it's a B day, review vowel sounds first. Okay, if we have a base word and we add a consonant suffix, we
Just.
if we have a base word and we add a vowel suffix, we have to check the
Last three letters of the base word.
If we have two
Final
final consonants, we
consonants.
just add, say final consonants. If we have a base word, we have a vowel suffix, we check the
Last three letters of the base word.
If you have two adjacent vowels, we just add. You have vowel, base word, you add a vowel suffix, you check the
Last three letters of the base word.
ends in an accented
Vowel, consonant.
consonant, we
Double
double
the consonant and attach the vowel suffix.
If we have a
Base word, and you add a vowel suffix, you check the last three letters of the base word. If it ends in a consonant, silent E, we drop the E and attach the vowel suffix.
when
Adding any suffix
a second one
that begins with an I to a base word that ends in consonant, vowel, Y, you change the Y to an I and attach the suffix.
That one's not on here. Do we still do
Change
it?
it. Do it, add it. What, we've taught it, right?
Yes.
Yes, so you need to add that. Anytime you, after you've taught them, you
So
just
just put
add
all
them. You
derivatives.
put them all the derivatives, yes. All right, then we need procedures. Okay, what do we do?
Echo on one, pull out your sound pictures, identify the base word and suffix, make a decision, touch and spell, name and write, code and read.
All right, so let's spell latest.
Latest.
O-8-S.
I knew something. My kids get excited, like, cause I wait to see what they're gonna pull. So
Me
when
too.
Oh, yeah.
They see that theirs is right, they're like, yes.
Oh, no, mine go like this.
Yeah.
Like, they wanna cover it, so they can be the only one. They got it
All
right.
So now what do we do?
Identify
For
the
the
base
base
word
word
and
and
suffix.
suffix.
Okay, what's our base word?
Latest.
What's our suffix?
S.
What else what do we say right now?
Is it a vowel or consonant suffix?
Do we have a vowel or consonant suffix? We have a
Vowel
suffix.
suffix.
So what do we do? We
Check
The
the
last three letters of the base word.
Okay, so how are we going to do that?
Touch and spell the base
So just spell the base word. Here we go.
L-A-T-E.
Okay, name and write. Tell me what's a name and write.
L-A-T-E.
All right, so
Dropping roll.
there you go. And if they say drop and roll, you say, yeah, it is in a consonant silent E, so we're going to drop that final E and attach our vowel suffix. If they don't say the drop and roll, then what do you have to do?
Go
Start
down.
at the top and go on down. All right, so what do we do after we make a decision?
Touch and
Touch and
spell.
spell.
L-A-T-E-S-T.
Okay, name and write.
L-A-T-E-S-T.
Okay. So, thank you're having them tell you how to spell it or whatever. All right, now what do we do?
Drop.
Let's do it.
Boss,
Vowel,
vowel,
suffix,
suffix, est, code A with the main prong.
And read it.
Latest.
Latest. All right. So next time, I think we want you to do, your 8th video. Oh, you're gonna do spelling with the change and roll on your video, okay. All right, so, fill for your sentence, prep any other prep you need, and then what's a good closure for that spelling lesson? What's a good closure?
When you have a long vowel sound.
Or you could say that whenever you have to, when you make your decision, you have to look at is it a vowel suffix or a consonant suffix?
Okay, first checkpoint is look to see the vowel or consonant suffix and then make the decision.
Coconut.
Is it coconut cookie?
Coconut cream pie.
Oh my gosh, I might have to have a bite of that.
You try the rain check? You got one?
I
You wanna try it?
I have one in the car.
Oh, you got one?
Yes,
Could we do it with the with like clipper, number 10?
clipper, clipper, we can.
Oh, great, thank you.
Is that one of the words right here?
Yeah,
Ten.
Oh,
Number 10.
okay, if you do 10, you need to prep. If you hear k before any sound of A, O, U, or a consonant, it's spelled as a C, and we code it with a K back. Because we keep coding in, spelling. We back off coding and reading, but spelling, we still code everything. All right, so we're going to spell clipper.
Clipper.
Of Glenn.
It,
Oh, yes, they do.
All right, so what is our base word?
Clip.
Clip. What's our suffix? Er.
vowel, suffix.
Okay, we have a vowel suffix, because if we had a consonant suffix, what do? We did that, but we have a vowel suffix, it's and if they don't, you might say, how do you spell E-R, what is it? So whatever, you know. But is a vowel suffix, so we have to check the last 3 letters of the base word. All right, so let's touch and spell.
C-L-I-P.
Okay, name and write.
C-L-I.
Tell me how to write it, C-L-I-P. All right. That's our base word. So,
Let's check that.
last 3 letters of the base word.
We have vowel consonant, double the, double.
Oh, yes, we would, wouldn't we, use our double and roll, because we have an accented, 1 vowel, 1 consonant. So we're going to what? Double the consonant and attach our vowel suffix. All right, so now what do we do?
Touch and spell.
Let's touch and spell.
C-L-I-P-P-E-R.
Okay, name and write.
C-L-I-P-P-E-R.
Okay, let's go to the
Box, vowel, suffix, E-R, a vowel, close syllable, short, code with brief, code C with the K back.
Read it.
Clipper.
Like the only time you pull that or like organ.
sorry, I had another question.
That's
That
okay.
made sense. When you're spelling doctor,
You
You-
don't spell doctor
you don't spell doctor with the,
because it's not regular for spelling. When you say with the green, and you say combination E-R, combination O-R,
right,
that's for worm.
right,
We don't ever spell unaccented O-R,
okay,
like doctor.
right,
We don't spell that. That's
Okay.
irregular for spelling.
okay.
They just have to know that when they're spelling some, in the classroom or whatever, the doctor is what,
Yeah,
Right.
They just have to
right.
learn.
Think about our keyword.
Do what?
Is that how,
Well,
like
when we
if
do
you're,
our-
when we're thinking about our keyword,
Yeah, when we're doing our cards, then they do say
doctor or.
for O-R. No,
For reading,
yes.
but for spelling, we don't,
Well,
except for worm after a W.
uh-huh.
O-R with the er.
We know that doctor is O-R, but
Right. So did that answer your
So-
question?
Yeah, so the only one of those are that you would use is ER for the suffix. I mean, obviously, for
Yes.
that's the only one, okay, yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
You made
All
a
right,
comment at the beginning about this, going over the vowel sounds
on a B day.
on a B day before what?
Before you spelling, go
Before
redo your
spelling.
vowel sounds with smiling mouth. E, I, F, A, F, I. Open mouth, all, round mouth, O, U, and then all the.
Before spelling. I'm trying to think of, you know, what I've been doing.
You might not have, but do it now. All right, so is there any other questions on 107?
So why don't you put two dots?
Okay, now let's go to 112.
You don't put two dots,
I
because
don't know
double
why,
with
but
the
that's where we're going.
Because one sound,
flip.
one sound. She did put it back, you know, when you separated them, she put it back, even though it's struggling. When we start moving to spell it, you don't just add, but you have to put it back. You have to double.
Siri, I wasn't talking to you. Sometimes Siri has a sense of humor.
Sometimes, oh my gosh, what kind of-
It's funny.
No, it's so funny, because somebody asked her what she was wearing one time, and she, you know, I don't know, she said, oh, that's not an appropriate question. You know, then she was telling us, so then we asked her to see what she would say, and she said, they made it the silicone and blah, 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 I mean, the technical terms about what the phone's made out, we just started laughing, she got mad. Everybody in the contact list out, it was just hilarious.
Wow.
All right, we're not going to say this, because I know you're so good at it, and your kids are either saying it with you or after you, or hopefully for you. Okay, when you hear R, R is spelled
Combination of R for combination.
and code the A with the
Circumflex.
Circumflex.
You have to code the A with the circumflex, or to know it's not read it's read R. So be sure you use the circumflex on this,
Not the dots, just the circumflex.
not the dot. All right, when you hear final I in an accented syllable, final I is spelled
Y.
vowel Y, and we code it with a
Make
make
line.
line. Okay, you have an arrow after that, do you have an arrow?
Yes.
No, you don't need that, just take that arrow off.
Why don't we need it? Because it's not open.
Yeah,
Well, I guess
so,
it's
because it
open.
just is accented, the difference is accented or unaccented, not if it's opened, does that make sense? And if you hear final I is spelled vowel Y, and we code it with a brief, so take off the arrow on that one too.
Okay.
Sorry.
You can ask me, they might have the same question and not be asking.
The AR is coded in the book a little differently than.
We don't do the diaresis, we just do
diaresis.
the circumflex. Yeah, it is, they code it different, but we don't do that. All right, so we have, derivatives, we need a derivative rules. Are you good with not saying them? You're reading them, everybody has the right verbiage?
Yeah.
Consistent? Okay, so we have this one, just add. Make sure you're writing this up there as they say it to make it multi-sensory. All right, down to the change roll. And then procedures, we're going to
Look and listen, echo, and blend.
hold down sound pictures, identify the base words and suffixes, make a decision, such as spell, name and write, code and read. All right, so some of these might be a two-syllable base word, so we're just going to put this up for coding purposes.
One of us.
Janice,
Yes,
in book on page 89, or at least in our book,
yes.
if you look at the derivative rules list, look at the first one.
I know, we don't have that one.
Can we just,
Just cross that out.
okay,
okay.
that's what we're trying to figure out, we're like, what?
Yeah,
You're not
cross
gonna
that
be
out.
using that word though. 'Cause you wanna use one of these words.
Is this the same
So as always,
as
prep
the
first, do your derivative rules, second, do your procedures third.
I think I have one.
But note that we're going to spell with derivatives, but we're putting up the two-syllable spelling base words because we're going to spell two-syllable base words with a derivative.
So we put both?
So we put both up?
Yeah, but we're just gonna say this one. But then when we get to coding, we're going to use divide between the syllables, listen for the accent. So that's why I have this up here. So we're going to spell tardedness. Everybody echo tardedness.
Tardedness.
Unblemished. R, D, I, N, S. All right, what do we do now?
Identify the base word and stuff.
All right, so what's our base word?
Tardy. Tardy.
You have to use that it pronunciation, tardy. And the suffix is
Yes.
ness,
It is a consonant suffix,
Consonant
the
suffix.
consonant suffix.
so we
Just
just
add.
add.
So we just add. All right, so let's touch and spell.
T-A-R-D.
So we don't just add.
Ah.
Change it.
Oh, it's a
So-
changing.
It's kind of tricky, doesn't it? So, usually we just add a consonant suffix, but let's look at this base word. Let's touch and spell the base word. Here we go.
T-A-R-D-Y.
T-A-R-Y, name and right.
That's why they have that derivative rule there,
Yes,
consonant Y.
But it's the same as the bottom one.
but it's, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause you're
confusing.
adding-
We
Part of
don't
the
use that
bottom
one,
one,
yeah. Okay, so they name and wrote, so tell me what's right.
T-A-R-D-Y. So
All
we
right.
have a consonant vowel Y.
It ends with a consonant vowel Y, so what do we have to do?
Change the Y to an I and attach the suffix.
All right, now let's touch and spell our derivative.
T-A-R-D-I-N-E-S-S.
Okay, name and right. Tell me what to name and right, you already did.
T-A-R-D-I-N-E-S-S.
All right, let's code it, so what do we do?
Consonant suffix N-E-S-S.
Oh, look, we have a two-syllable word. Where are we going to divide? Tar, did.
Between the consonants.
Consonants, where's the accent? Tar.
First
First
syllable.
syllable. So we're going to.
R combination A-R, so the A with the circumflex,
So the I with
with
the
the brief.
free,
Oh,
Oh,
tardy, yeah.
free,
Brief,
that's
tardy,
because-
short day.
final, well, it's short,
It's-
because it was a short, yeah, it's short, so we're gonna code it with a brief, tardy. Tardy. Okay, so let's read it.
Tardiness.
Can you explain again why we don't, I guess I missed the whole why thing, because when we're just spelling it, it makes sense, T-A-R-D-I. And to the kids, it would make sense, like the kid is not gonna know it's spelled Y.
Ah, I see what you're saying. Well, they might, I mean, because the base
So I
word
guess
is
the more
tardy,
you-
so you have to, so you wouldn't really, so you need them to identify the base word and look at it to see that it's a change rule.
So
Does that
if
make
we
sense?
Point back to the board, final
If-
I on tardy has Y.
You could, and but remember, if they spell with an I, good, but what if they don't? What if they spell it with a Y? So either way, if they spell it with an I, then you can say, oh, what do? We did the change rule, if they realize that. Do you see what I'm saying? You want them to realize they followed the changing rule. Does that am I confusing you?
No, it's not that you're, I guess, to me, like tardiness, we were spelling it with an I and it's correct.
Right, and it is correct, yeah, but if your kids understand that, go with it. They realize they're doing the changing rule. But if you have younger kids, they might not realize that. Does that make sense?
I guess what I'm saying is some of y'all realized it, I didn't. I didn't realize we were using that.
That we were
If we
using the
would've had
change?
Smart ones right
Mm.
now, like, I wouldn't have realized it.
You thought you were just spelling it I because it ended, the base word ended in an I.
I guess because it just made sense, I don't know, because
Yeah,
I heard it, so we just said,
I.
yeah.
It gets a little tricky. So, yeah, you just have to know your students too. Because, I mean, I know you knew it was an I because it was a change in rule, but they might not know. So, and that's where it gets a little tricky. If it is a consonant suffix, then it's a change in rule because you do have to change it. Yes,
Can you do the word crying, please?
we can do crying, yes. All right. And of course, if we did crying, we would prep the before any sound. So put that for number 8. If you do crying, you're going to prep
Before an A.
before any sound. Before any sound of A, O, U, or a consonant. Because it could be a long vowel sound, it could be a short vowel sound.
And we'll go with C.
All right, our word is crying.
Crying.
I'm like,
I, I,
all right, so what's our base word?
Cry.
Cry, what's our suffix? Ing.
We have a vowel suffix.
We have a vowel suffix.
We have the last three letters of the base word.
All right, so let's check them. Let's touch and spell.
C-R-Y.
What? If they said I?
Yes.
If they say I, do C-R-I, and then say, ooh. How do you spell final? I. Vowel-Y. So let's do again, C-R-Y. Name it right, C-R-Y. Let them make their mistakes.
Right.
And then code it, correct it. All right, so we have cry, ing. So which rule are we gonna use?
The consonant vowel line,
Consonant
or changing rule.
The changing rule. So what is our changing rule? When adding any suffix except one
One that begins with an I to a consonant, base word that ends in consonant vowel
We
Y
change the Y
to an I. And
So, what is our, it's a vowel suffix, and what letter does it start with?
I,
I. So what are we going to do?
just
add.
We're just going to add it. So let's touch and spell.
C-R-Y-I-N-G.
Okay, name and write.
C-R-Y-I-N-G.
All right, code it, Bob.
box vowel suffix I-N-G, code vowel Y with the make pronoun. Code C with the K vowel.
And read it.
Crying.
Crying. Did that help? Whoever wanted it?
Yes, I did. Thank
Okay,
you.
does anybody else want another word or anything? Oh, you know what I'm gonna tell you? Well, plentiful has repeat phones. Don't do silliness or lobbying right now. You ready, is that when you did lobby? No, you already did lobby. Were you spelling lobby and spelling?
Yes.
What lesson were you on?
98? No. You know what? This was, my
The
group,
student
it was my
interaction.
group and with the videos.
It was your group and you.
Yes.
Okay.
And it was for spelling.
The
And
board
you
was
spelled
just
lobby?
Mhm.
And what lesson did you do?
Lobby, that was like 150, 155?
We don't- Oh, you're in the tape program.
Yes.
I think because we don't have 155 lessons.
Yes.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay, but don't spell number 4 or number 7. Don't do
'Cause we don't have-
silliness or lobby, because we have not learned that spelling rule.
Right, because you.
All right,
When you
so
hear
if you
er,
did not spell crying in your words, prep for your sentence. If you spell crying in sentence number 1, prep for any sound of A, O, U, or consonant. For number 1 for crying.
Okay. Okay, so if you're doing the dictation sentence, the baby is crying, when you're reading it, do you say the baby is crying,
You
right?
have to.
Okay, that's what I thought,
Bad,
okay.
baby. You have to do that spelling pronunciation.
Okay,
And especially if we watch you on a video, make sure you do that.
right, okay.
I had one lady 3 times, she said E for Y, so say it. Or baby.
The baby.
Don't accent it though,
Because
baby.
you're like.
Okay, and when you do the sentence, in the winter, the snow is plentiful in the north, when you code winter with them, how would you do that?
Divide between the N and the T.
Yes, divide.
Because it's
Divide
Divide.
Wait, what do you have to do after you divide?
accent.
Accent the first syllable. Always divide, always accent. And then go, a vowel and a closed syllable, a short, put with a brief, arc combination, ER, and read it. Winter. So always in your sentences, those 2 syllable base words have to be divided, they have to be accented, and then code from left to right. Got it?
Okay, you piqued our curiosity with lobbying and silliness.
We're going to get to that for later on how to spell it. Now, right now, we're gonna do that in lesson 116. So let's go to lesson 116 and we're
We're
gonna
sitting
learn
there
that.
thinking, that's the changing moment.
It's the double consonants, the adjacent consonants that are saying. We haven't taught how to spell that
I
yet.
gotcha.
So we're gonna teach that in 116.
We're hearing one sound with consonant vowel.
So it's page 114.
It's good, you're, it's just.
All right, so when you hear a short vowel sound before a consonant sound, compose a syllable, that pattern is found, so vowel, consonant, vowel, close syllable, short, put a read. When you hear. So let's go ahead and do one with that. When you hear is spelled E-R. Combination E-R, and you art combination E-R. Okay, when you hear a short vowel sound before a consonant sound and another vowel sound, that pattern of sound is spelled vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel, and we divide between the consonants. All right, so 2 syllable base words. What's our procedure?
Spoken, listen, echo, unblend, pull them sound pictures, divide between the syllables, listen for the accent, touch and spell, name and write, code and read.
All right, so your first word is going to be offer.
Offer.
Offer. Move your mouth, so they get that.
Her,
Do it? Oh, here it is.
and it's a document.
Well, it's short, not very many pictures. All right, so, let's touch and spell.
O-F-F-E-R.
Okay, name it right?
O-F-F-E-R.
All right, so when we code it, first thing we do is divide between the
Consonants,
accent,
accent the first syllable,
a
vowel and closed syllable short, coded with a brief, arc combination, E-R.
Offer.
Can you erase it and spell it O-F-E-R?
I can.
And
That's
then
what
go from there.
O-F-E-R, okay. So, here we go. Oops. O-F-E-R. All right, so,
Or isn't it? That's what she divide between them.
offer, offer, where would we divide off
Before the consonant?
before the consonant? And we'd accent the first syllable. What do we have? We have open accent, so if we code this, with the macron, what's our word?
Over.
With did I say over? No, I said offered. So how do we keep the vowel short? We're going to we have to double the consonant, so let's touch and spell.
O-F-F-E-R.
All right, let's name and write it.
O-F-F-E-R. When did they learn that spelling, syllable division? Spelling division, what am I trying to say? Spelling pattern.
We learned, this is the first time they're doing it.
That particular one?
Yes. Where we have the double consonant.
Okay, I was just expecting it to be like a whole lesson, not just thrown in.
Not, yeah, it's just thrown in there.
Gotcha.
On the prep where you do vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel, divide between the two consonants, you don't put the accent in the first one? Up on top
On the formula.
in the prep?
No, because you have to listen with accent.
Okay,
It might be accent on the second syllable.
okay.
So this is the first time that's presented?
The first time you spell that with
Two
this.
like consonants.
With two adjacent consonants are the same. We've spelled it with other words, like magnet.
But no, it's,
Two like consonants.
I get you.
All right, so, are we good? So then prep whatever you need for your sentence. And what would be a good closure that day?
That new
Roll for your new rule.
Do we call them rules or formulas?
Formulas. Well,
Both are okay.
either one. Either one. Because it really, both a formula and a rule. All right, do we have any more to do? Let's look at 118. Oh, that's the last one. Oh, okay, this is just what we did for 1 through 6, it's, the same pattern. So, look at your prep, they have it divided, do they have it divided? Over here, on your prep?
Yes.
Mine is it.
Oh, 118.
Don't do that, leave it just like this, and then
118.
divide it over here. We're on 118, page 125.
Oh, they've divided it.
Yeah, don't divide it. And then on that first one, when you hear a long vowel sound before a consonant sound and another vowel sound, that pattern sound is spelled vowel, consonant, vowel. And we divide before the consonant, and you can accent the first syllable.
The one before, the one on top of it, is that what you're saying? In the
Yes,
book?
but they left this off. They just put this side,
Yeah, okay.
they didn't put this side, right?
Right.
So make sure you add this
Okay.
to your,
Is that the one that has the open accented?
the one right, this is above this one.
It's because they didn't add it.
So we have to put the
Right here.
arrow and the
Put
accent?
E
Yes.
is spelled vowel.
Just make it look just like it did the day before. Oh, and this one, yeah, don't divide it over here.
And we don't do the arrow.
Okay, and if you spell number 2, look at that word. You can't say tish you, or they're not gonna spell it right. You'd have to say tis you. So if you're going to spell that word, you have to pronounce it tis you.
I'll forget to
Hey, you cannot do that one. You don't have to do it.
Okay.
I'm just telling you, if you do it,
Yeah,
You know.
I have discussion. I would forget.
all right, so there's nothing else new on that, just that. If you do number, 12 cubic, you need to add the preps when you hear before any sound of A, O, U, or a consonant. And if you do lilac number 8 and number 12, oh, you have that, never mind. You have it in your book, I just don't have it in mine. All right, so I think that's it for that, for spelling. Does anybody else have a spelling question? Are y'all doing good on spelling? Good with syllable-based words, derivative?
The more I do it.
Yeah. This year it's gotten a lot.
Good, and let the kids do more, you need to do less, have them make the decisions, you know, have them say it, have them do more,
We have 2 or more.
and you do less.
Any 2 or
Um,
more.
all right, how is connected expository
Any
text
2 or
going?
more.
like where you look at the passage, the, expository text where they're tabbing the question.
It's really good, I like it.
I like
I wonder if we can just do that, like from now till star.
Not till what?
Till star?
Yeah.
Because I think that would help them a lot.
No, I think you can. I think you can.
That's a good idea.
For your connected text.
Mhm.
Yeah, on B-Days, yeah, just do that, I mean, because that is what's most helpful for them to right now.
Yeah, 'cause that, I mean,
And go
they
through.
just-
We shared it with our whole staff. And it was like,
Don't they love it? Yeah.
everyone was like, oh my gosh, that's
That's a
so
good
good.
idea.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I should ask Sanchez about it, she thought.
So when we're from procedures, first you look at the title and everything, and then you tab the question, and then you go back to the story, tab the answers,
Yeah,
don't
I'm
answer the
also stressed out
question.
because of the time.
Right.
And then you're talking about main idea of each topic, every paragraph. Talk about the main idea, and then if there's a change of topic in between paragraphs, mark it with the orange. Do that with each paragraph, so they're really paying attention to what each paragraph is about, what the main idea is, and if there's a change in topic. And then after you finish reading it, and then if they miss a word and they know the skill, you guide them to read it correctly, don't give it to them. Guide them to read it correctly, and then, only give them words that they have that skill. And then you go back and you, answer the questions, put the tabs back on, and then talk about the title. Because sometimes those titles are good and sometimes they're really not so good, are they? So
Yeah.
just make, helping your children be analytical thinkers, metacognition. So does anybody have any questions about connected text,
You do, yeah. You do.
expository text? How are you doing good on reviews? Like, if you're on a B day, that first review is from the previous day lesson.
In the previous day.
So if you have a B day, there is no new learning. So your first review is from your new learning from the A day,
Yeah.
whatever they talk.
Yes.
Oh,
And then your second review is one of the decks.
Yes.
Yeah.
The next video is an A day, right?
Yes.
Yes. And we'll talk about that after Pam talks about comprehension. Oh, go make your little certificates of attendance. Oh, and we have to do presentations too. Who all needs a PowerPoint, has a PowerPoint? Okay, so we'll see if we can get that set up too.
You got presentations?
But, all right, so
You go next. You go next.
I'll go make those things.
Jana, the teachers didn't say anything because of the time issue? Because I know Ari like freaking out because of the time, so they don't want to do like extra.
Pam, are you ready, ma'am?
It's a good idea to show.
We had our whole school, like, we have a 3 to 5 campus, and that's where I'm housed at. And, they all had to cycle through during their PLC, whatever, bullshit. And then, like, we had to do, like, a presentation. They had asked us to come up with, like, a presentation about what we do and, like, strategies that we use. And we did that. We showed them, they were like, oh my God. So they
Okay.
kind of made it just like that, because they didn't want to copyright it. So they made one very similar and gave it to the teachers.
I brought mine, so I have my records.
Oh, good.
too, just
So-
in case.
All right, okay. Well, we're gonna go through this fast, okay? So we need to cover the comprehension part of our lesson plans, but we're gonna go back to the thesaurus. Did anybody talk about thesaurus last time?
No, we didn't get.
Okay, so that will be in the comprehension book, 151 and 158. And, let's see, I've got a thesaurus here. Everybody got thesauruses in their classroom, or do you have access to them?
From like 1965.
They don't change, don't worry about
I
it.
was gonna ask. Because I know the legal got like
Mine
the
are,
new dictionary.
the pages are yellow.
Yeah, mine too.
The book is like,
All right, you have seen these?
Those are nice.
Right,
I have them in
all right, so,
Look at you.
really fast. So you need to explain a thesaurus is like a dictionary. And we actually have 4 pages dedicated to thesauruses in here, which is very unusual. So, give them a little bit of training on it. So you preview in the first lesson, and then on 152, you model cornering to the word good, okay? And they should know how to corner by now, right? If they're doing looking up the words in the dictionary.
But we don't have to do the quartiles on this like we do on the picture?
No.
Okay.
And then, let's see. So it tells you here, it's all self-explanatory. Go locate the entry word good, because after you say, hey, this is like a dictionary, they have guide words like a dictionary. You're gonna look for the entry word, and then you go through the list of synonyms, and then help them discover. You know, look at the book together and say, hey, what do you notice about this? All the synonyms appear first, and then the antonyms are afterwards. And the synonyms go on and on and on for good. And finally, when you get down here, these are the antonyms. So you just keep going through, building on the practices. They all have the closures there, so don't forget to ask them a question for the closure. Practice 3, you're still going to use your cornering guide word to locate code, and you go through the same steps. Practice 4, pretty. And then practice 5, they turn you loose. So now you have some practice pages you can give each student. So 156, practice page 5. Using the thesaurus, find a synonym for each underlined word. Practice 6. So you can give them a word each, probably. Practice 6. You review it. The thesaurus is set up like a dictionary. It contains many different synonyms and sometimes antonyms of the entry words. Closure. How do different words in the practice sentences make them more interesting? Okay, so you got another, it ends up with another practice page on page 158. So those are all pretty self-explanatory. And if you've got a good thesaurus like this, then it's easy to look these words up because they're pretty large.
Yeah.
The font's large, that's good.
It's real hard for them to see the small ones.
Yeah.
Like a newspaper thing.
And these are all skills they should be learning in ELA.
I asked my kids, who were practicing, what's a thesaurus?
They never clue, did they? See, I would think that would be up to the librarian. You know,
And our
just-
librarian's doing lessons with them, but.
And I show my librarian how we locate words in the dictionary, and I said, if you like, teach the kids as they come through. You know, it would help everybody be on the same page.
But like our kids, do your kids use electronic dictionaries in the classroom?
Yeah, they do in our school.
Since it's an accommodation for STAR, like we try to get our 4th graders used to using the electronic dictionaries. So that's what they use, and so like I tell them to use the little button for thesaurus, so that if they don't understand the definition, there's synonyms and antonyms, and that helps them sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. So you can use that as long as it's not hooked up to
the internet.
They have to do
Yes,
something.
and now they changed, I think it's only for 4th grade this year.
Really?
Yeah, it just came out with new.
I didn't realize it was electronic. I
That's
thought
part
it
of the
was
writing
the
accommodations, right?
regular dictionary, the paper dictionary.
No, it could be electronic. They have their own little earbuds,
Yeah.
and so they have it. Well, these you can't,
Access.
Are they
like,
on
you can
iPads?
use, no, it's a little, like the little Franklin
Oh,
dictionary. Those. So I told the teachers, if you don't have enough, you can download dictionary.com on the iPad. But for the test, they have their own. So they have it in their desk, they have their earbuds, so they just plug it in and they use it.
Oh, okay.
So,
Really? Okay, so then sequence of events, that runs from, let's see, 159 through 160, let's see, 4, okay? Sequence of events, and a lot of this is oral, of course. On page 1, let's see, 159. So you're gonna read the story, okay, or the little thing. It says blowing out birthday candles, and you're thinking about the sequence. You need to let them listen very carefully. Have them tell you which comes first, okay? Blow out the candles, sing happy birthday, light the candles on the cake. Okay? So they've got all kinds of little exercises here. So you don't have to do them all at once that day. You know.
But you want to give them a copy of this,
Depends
or
on the
just read
time.
it to them?
It says oral here. Yeah, but you know what, a lot of these help if you do sentence strips. If you have these already
Yeah,
done, throw them up there, okay? Because that's easy to manipulate with sentence strips. All right, page 160, sequence of events 2, you're getting into longer stories. Read the paragraph, read the questions too, right? There's lots of short stories here to practice for. So you don't have to do them all at once. Depends on your time. Page, let's see, 160. I'm gonna start using signal words. Signal words on 64, page 164. They introduce signal words. Using some signal words that you have learned to show sequence of events. Tell the steps to do the following activity. I would definitely put these on sentence scripts. You know, and that way you can move them around. Okay, then we come to cause and effect. Pages 165 through 168. Okay, suggest you use sentence strips here. Don't forget, every one of these has EPPC, okay? So follow the outline here. And the closures are really good. The reason an event happens is and they have to supply the word called. The event that happens is the effect, right? It might take some time to get the hang of them. Cause and effect 2 is the same thing on page 166, 167. Cause and effect 3. All of this is auditory. So that first paragraph, sometime around 1350, a young man only 9 years old became the pharaoh of Egypt. I don't think that's right, 1350, but anyway, his name was Tutankhamun. I think he lived 2,000 years before the birth of Christ, but anyway. So anyway, for this, students may need more time. Okay, there's lots of details in these paragraphs. So you might have to go over it again. Okay, so they have to tell you what's the event, what's the cause, and what's the effect of each one of these paragraphs. Okay. When you get to cause and effect 4, though, it's more challenging. That's on page 168. Definitely put these on sentence strips so they can see what goes where. Okay, listen to the sentence and apply the missing cause or effect. Number 1, the coach will cancel the game if. Okay, so they have to come up with a cause there, right? All right, so it's building up until this difficult one here, this challenging one here. Let's go to, let's see, fact and opinion.
Pam, real quick,
Yes.
she looked up King Tut, it's 1350 BC.
BC,
I forgot the BC.
Oh my gosh, shame on
So
that.
we can add BC next.
Yes.
I looked it up also, like a crazy girl.
You look it up on the phone, like the kids.
I figured when you said 2,000, I thought it was
I was reading along, I thought, it doesn't
No,
look
yeah.
right.
What page was that?
The first one's
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
sometime 1350, whatever.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
1350 BC.
BC, okay, before Christ. Okay, thank you. You never know with these printers, right? Okay, so then we get to fact and opinion, which is page 169. And these are all self-explanatory, 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's nothing difficult about them. Listen to the sentence and decide if it's a fact or opinion. And then the closure, you fill in something is a statement that can be proved, or something is a statement that cannot be proved. They should know this stuff. They're hammering it into their heads, aren't they, in the ELA classes? All right, and then end up with something fun, similes. Okay, do you have access to Amelia Bedelia or in a pickle? Okay, have you seen these little skinny books? Yeah, we've got 4 different ones in here, in a pickle and other funny idioms if you would. Hand that around.
My pre-flight group likes for me to read them in Bedelia because they just think she's so silly. Let
They
them
can
know
giggle
really
and
get
laugh
the-
and,
Oh, this is
yeah.
good.
It is, yeah. Yeah.
I know ELLs have a lot of trouble with this. Idioms, yes.
Oh, yeah,
They don't
definitely.
get the,
They came to a fork in the road, okay, where's the fork? All right, so for Amelia Bedelia, metaphors, this is really good, so if you got any, you know, the library,
It's selfish.
these are really simple. And they've got little exercises in here.
Sad.
Ask students if they can complete the following metaphors on page 178. Something is a cloud. Something is a fountain's good world. That should be funny to see what they come up with, right? Okay, so that, I mean, that kind of brings you to the end of the comprehension. If you have time to do this.
In our poetry, the way they did it, that's when we did similes and metaphors, the genres. So we did a lot of metaphor hyperbole. So we hit this already.
I bet you did, yeah, and use this, you know.
I
You
like
haven't got
it.
any
To go back for
source.
review.
Yeah.
This would be retained, really.
I'm gonna start with a tutorial group after school, and this is like perfect, because to me, it's the right amount of time, like
Just
without
quick-
overwhelming them.
Just quick little stuff, yeah.
And they're tired of seeing
And they
passages,
want fun stuff.
seeing passages over, they I want to do that with them, so I like this.
Yeah.
Like maybe one of those, the comprehension sheets with the tabbing, and then one of the skills, or the skill and then the sheet.
Are you using the passages out of the No Grammar
Yes.
book? Yeah, they're just long enough, aren't they?
Mhm.
Yeah, I like those.
To where they're not overwhelming. Even my junior high
For the
kids,
expository text.
like when I'm gonna be absent,
Purchased it,
I
and then
leave them
purchased it
those,
for clients.
because it's hard for a
So
sub,
the no grammar
and they
concepts
just get the
purchased
A
it,
to
full
cover, because I'm just there that one period,
Right.
but it's an hour and a half.
And that's where the expository
So-
text
Do you
and
get,
video.
do you download stories from ReadWorks? ReadWorks, it's free, it's wonderful. I think it starts at pre-K or something, it goes all the way up.
No, I was talking about the the book, for the stories.
ReadWorks, yeah, go to that, yeah, I think so. And, you know, you just have to put your name in and what school you're at, but, you know, all this week, Martin Luther King stories, at every, like, kindergarten and all the way up to, you know, older. And it's really good, the stories are good, yeah. You found it? Readworks.org, okay, it's readworks.org. Yeah, use those stories, because you're always looking for new stuff. Yeah, it's got all that.
My junior high group, they wanted to read Anne Frank, because they had started in, I think, sixth grade, two different, the sixth grade, the seventh and eighth grade, and they wanted to know what happened, because they only did a certain part. So I told them that we would start, it's gonna take us to the end of the year, but they're so interested in reading about her.
Yeah, my brother went to, the house in Amsterdam last year.
Oh, where she stays.
He's in Iceland right now.
Oh, my God.
in Iceland?
That's a hot spot, Iceland, everybody's going to Iceland, right?
Is he from San
He's
Antonio?
England, he's in England.
Oh.
I'm gonna be seeing him in June.
Are you going up there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So they're going to take, a trip to the hot springs. First of all, they're gonna roll in the snow, or we're gonna have swimsuits on there, jumping in the hot. I said, they'll probably have a heart attack. He said, you're younger than me. And then another side trip, they're going up to the mountains, and they're gonna look at the northern lights.
I was glad to see that.
That's cool.
You gotta see the northern lights. Something I wanna do before I die. So he said, I'll send you a postcard.
Tell him to go live while he's there, so you can just,
Wow.
Yeah, he's a
Facebook
journalist.
Live.
He loves to go everywhere. He's even been to the Falkland Islands. When he was covering the British Army, he's retired now, but he would go everywhere in the world where the British Army was. In Jamaica, he was in Hong Kong when they turned it over to the Chinese.